Yeah, I think maybe I found like a good amount of value like in just trying like both kind of paths in different ways. Like I tried to make sure I was doing a year off and also trying to get some internships in industry just to kind of get a flavor for the differences. Um, I think too, talking to people who are older than you is usually going to give you some good insights. I think in the end, I'm kind of like maybe in a middle position because I feel like I had a good time doing MEng and learned a lot, and I'm kind of moving more towards industry research just because I think the problems there are different and interesting for different reasons, but still always kind of feeling like, oh, maybe I should go and get my PhD before, I kind of grow too old and it may be more difficult to do so. So yeah, I think for me, it's a lot about problems you want to solve. And I think maybe that's like, you just need a good like balance between the two ideas.
I mean, in my case, I definitely didn't know the full. I kind of felt like grad school was the right idea. I didn't really know why, and ended up doing it. And now I've at least justified to myself that it was a good idea after all. But I think that the main obvious downside of grad school is like if you really do care about making the most money in your 20s and investing it for the rest of your life, that obviously there's a trade-off there. You can make a lot more money going into finance out of undergrad, and so obviously can't argue with that. But I think from the perspective of if you really do care about like the technical side of things, and there's this obviously like maybe entrepreneurialism is kind of in between. If you like the business side of the technical stuff and engineering and like processes and stuff like that, which are very interesting things, that's something you'll probably get a better idea for in industry. So it really comes down to, I think, where you're going to learn the most, and what learning the most means will obviously depend on your own objective function. And so a lot of those things that you might be trying to learn are really things that are better taught in industry. But on the purely more theoretical side and scientific side, I think grad school is kind of irreplaceable there. And the other thing too is when you're looking at jobs, when you're considering like, here's a place I'd like to work, and you're considering, do I just go apply there right now, or do I go to grad school first? Consider how many people there have PhDs or master's degrees. Like when you're doing interviews, but it's definitely worth doing both at the same time, looking at jobs and looking at grad schools. Consider like these people who are hiring you, the people who've worked at these companies and made impacts and been put into like leadership positions there. Do they all have PhDs? Do they all have master's degrees? Is this the kind of thing that will be expected of me? Will I be expected to go back to grad school before I can really move up in this place that I want to work for, I think I want to work for? So depending on the field you're looking at, just really knowing what really are the practical job qualifications and academic qualifications that people are looking for. Because in certain fields that are more, really heavy on the technical side of things, it's often the case that, there will be people who come in and move up without any kind of extra postgraduate degrees, but they may not be the norm. And so that can be something that's worth weighing and being aware of in your search.
I think that something that is easy not to do in undergrad that's really beneficial for preparing you for grad school is making sure that you're making your educational choices and your extracurricular choices with your own academic and industry future in mind. You're not just doing this class elective because all your friends are doing it. You're doing it because it's what you're interested in and it's what you want to work your future towards. I know a lot of people who are more concerned about the people they're working with in a senior project than about what they're working on. And sure, that's fine for the short term of it might make your life easier if you're working with your friends, but working on the topics that are going to prepare you for grad school or that you're just generally more interested in is going to benefit you in the future, because you're going to acquire the knowledge about things that you will want to work on in the future rather than just classes that you maybe don't care about but your friends are taking.